Oh gosh, as far as photographers I admired, anybody who really did good work in the magazines in the 70s and 80s, I always envied them, but going back to Tony Lanza, you've seen all those classic photos. He was a wrestler, but also a photographer in the 50s and 60s in the Northeast, and shot all the legends, the sit-down posed portrait stuff, like the famous picture of Lou Thez with his belt sitting on a stool of some kind with the photo Lanza on it. He just did great work as far as portrait photography. And there were a number of really good photographers that shot good action stuff. And Scott Teal was a heck of a photographer in the Tennessee territory on the Gula side. And Mike Shields did good stuff for Jarrett before I took over. So there was a lot of good photographers. As far as camera equipment, I used an AE1, a Canon AE1 with a Vivitar 283 flash most of the time. I had a bigger flash, but it was harder. It was one of those jobs where you could hold on to the flash on it. It had a handle to it, and it attached to the camera on a bracket, and it was a more powerful flash, but it was harder to get under the ropes and harder to maneuver because it was heavier. I hate the modern cameras. They don't use film. You have no negatives to look through. Everything's automatic. I had some automatic settings on the AE1. You would synchronize with a flash at a shutter speed of 1/60th of a second, which was sometimes tough to really freeze action. Some of the cameras now synchronize a flash at 1/500th of a second or whatever, but it synchronized at 1/60th. And I could use different automatic settings. I believe the red setting meant if I used a f.6 f-stop, then I was automatic anything from 4 feet up to 19 feet. But if I turned it to yellow and switched it down to 2.8, then I was automatic up to 30 feet, which would take me all the way across the ring. And a lot, the point is when you could make your own decisions and do these things and et cetera, it was a lot easier back then to me than it is now with all this fucking shit that does stuff for you. Yes, you can freeze action better, and yes, there's better synchronizing with the flash shutter speed, etc. But once again, it was just easier to me in the old days. Like tape, I could work with videotape, and I edited most of the music videos that you would see on Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and a lot of them in OVW, working with tape and tape editing. Now that it's all in a fucking computer, and I don't get it. So it was a lot easier for me working with tape and negatives and film than it is now with all this automatic shit where they've taken the human aspect out of it, unless you get really smart and figure out a way to override all the automatic shit. Anyway, I'm digressing now, but it is a pain in the fucking ass.